This is another Jameco grab bag overview. This is just the contents of one of their, I think it's GB101LB. It's a 1 pound capacitor assortment of basically all manner of different types of film caps. Like there's a 249 nanofarad 2% capacitor. There was two of them. Also the contents of a couple of older grab bags. These are the two that were in two previous ones of the smaller ones that were only 100 capacitors. The other ones are other things that I've acquired from Circle Sales in Nebraska. These are 112.8 nanofarad caps, and that one which is 64 nanofarad, but those two were in the grab bag, and those there now. Anyways, this is a X2 capacitor, 470 nanofarad, 250 volt AC. These are basically X2 caps, means that it can be safely connected between hot and neutral for mains without generally much of a risk of exploding under normal circumstances, or should it fail, it basically will fail safe. As opposed to Y caps, which can be safely connected between mains hot and any exposed ungrounded metal that the user can touch, which is just a higher safety rating capacitor. Those are 150 nanofarad, 400 volt. Don't recognize the manufacturing mark, but focus. Week 42 in 1995, so yeah, about typical age for a lot of the surplus stuff. 747 microfarad, that's yeah, another X2 cap. All kinds of good stuff. Some of these, which are fairly interesting, that they're marked with a series of paint bands. That's 4, 7, then 3 zeros for the orange. Red and the black are, I think, potential, some combination of potential, tolerance, and dielectric material, but I don't know what, or at least some of those. But the that means it's 47,000 picofarad or 47 nanofarad, and see, there's a couple more of them that I got in previous grab bags. Some of these somewhat interesting in that they look to be just a reproduced handwriting for the marking, but those are 1 microfarad, 10% tolerance, 200 volt, week 5 in 1995, week 7 in 1995. Those go in there. By the way, also these are another exception to from the grab bag thing. These were from an all electronics assortment. They're 330 nanofarad, 250 volt AC, week 48 in 1997. Oh wait, I think those, no, not that one, but I was holding earlier. Yeah, that's ERO. So yeah, that's the OEM. There's a 8 microfarad 100 volt tolerance, or no, 8 microfarad 100 volt. Don't remember what the tolerance is, but that's probably somewhere in the order of 5% or 20% inclusive. This interesting little thingamajig, which is a Nichicon 820 nanofarad, 250 volt. Again, J, that's the tolerance. But it's got heat shrink sleeving on the leads, or insulation on the leads, and spade lugs and screws. So I think this is intended to as something like a QRM suppression capacitor kit that would be just mounted on a switch or something, but it was packaged in this bag, so that's interesting that goes in there. Whole bunch of these, again, more 470 nanofarad, 400 volt, bunch of caps. This is 27 nanofarad, 250 volt cap, 5% tolerance, which ain't bad. There's another one over there. This one is, what are you? Okay, 1 microfarad, no potential, but judging by the size that I'm at, and it's probably, for 1 microfarad, it's probably on the order of, maybe less than 100 volts. Yep, 47 nanofarad, 100 volt. Whole bunch of these chiclet caps. 33 nanofarad, 100 volt. Yeah. 10 nanofarad, 250 volts. Or 250 volt DC, 160 volt AC. Yeah, that's not uncommon to see capacitors with different AC and DC potential ratings. 250 volt, 1 microfarad. So yeah, that blue 1 microfarad when I was holding up earlier, that's probably something like 35 or 50 volts. 10 nanofarad, 400 volt. These are somewhat interesting ones. There are two of these. These are ITW quench arc 22 ohms. These are actually judging by the bulbs, that might be. I don't know if there's a built-in resistor on top. That's probably just an artifact of the dipping process, but that's probably an RC network where it's basically a capacitor with an inherent, very specific ESR, but there's resistance built into the cap. It's deliberately got a certain ESR as opposed to as low as is normally possible for normal capacitors, although within reason, because a lot of potential regulators are unstable, so you've got a really low ESR cap for buffering the output. Also shoot the 630 volts, 6.8 nanofarad. A couple of these square plastic box type caps. It's 47 nanofarad, 250 volt again. J tolerance code. 1 nanofarad, 100 volt. Again, fairly common stuff. There we go. That's yeah, 47 nanofarad. No potential rated, but it's probably less than 100 volts. So yeah, that's basically what you get in one of these. It's excellent source if you're a hobbyist starting out and you want a decent selection of capacitors without having to order a whole bunch of stuff. Because again, you never really know what you get, but that's part of the fun of it. It's just what kind of oddball things you can get with them. Or if you still have a decent stock of components, they're a good way of getting more. So yeah, in this case, recommended. 1 microfarad, 125 volt AC.